We all know the traditional story of how they were received. These were speeches that inspired and invigorated the British population, and that everybody was filled with this enormous enthusiasm, and it's often claimed, not always with supporting evidence being provided, that these were the speeches that made the difference to Britain's will to fight on during the summer of 1940. People make these claims about the importance of the speeches and the way in which they were received, but without actually making a systematic review of the evidence. Now, what I've done in this book is look in a thorough way at the reams and reams of evidence that exists for the ways in which Churchill's speeches were actually received by the British population, but also throughout the world as a whole. And in fact, what we find is that although, of course, there were what you might call the classic reactions of people feeling inspired, there was also much more controversy and criticism provoked by these speeches than we've ever been told. And so the myth is unsatisfactory. And to give you just a brief example of some of these reactions, which were recorded in many people's diaries, they were recorded in the so-called home intelligence reports, which were generated by the Ministry of Information on wartime morale, and they were also recorded by the organisation Mass Observation, which was a sociological research organisation which was dedicated to finding out what ordinary people thought about key subjects of the day. So if I quote you the Mass Observation report from Churchill's famous speech of 18th of June, which is renowned for a very famous quotation, which is about if we should spare ourselves so that people will say this was their finest hour. You know the quotation. Great rhetoric, but how did people react to it? Well, according to Mass Observation's report written the next day, Churchill's broadcast at 9 o'clock last night was well received as regards subject matter and has certainly had some settling effect. But his delivery was frequently criticised. Some suggested that he was drunk, others that he did not himself feel the confidence he was proclaiming. A few thought he was tired. It would seem that the delivery to some extent counteracted the contents of the speech. Now, that's not the normal story that we're told. And there's been considerable legend which has developed after 1940 to reinforce this classic story of sort of unanimous inspiration and invigoration. And so, as I say, there was much more controversy generated by Churchill's speeches. Now, that doesn't mean that they were bad speeches. What in fact it tells us was that Churchill faced considerably more difficulties when giving his speeches than we normally assume, because in fact, rather than everybody reacting with huge universal enthusiasm, there was a very substantial proportion of the population that were very sceptical about what he was saying and indeed about his way of saying it.